Hello again, guys. How are you doing? So in the part 2 of the problems, we did case 2, and before we did case 1, and I was trying to correlate these values in case 1, case 3 with the values of case 1. Remember, the difference was this: we calculated this problem for case 1 where the load was applied here, and now we have to do the same thing in case 3 when the load is applied there. Now, of course, the reactions, this reaction is going to be that reaction. And if you remember what I explained you before about symmetry, and if these distances are the same, this support, the closer to the load, is going to be taking 1 out of 4 of the load, and this one is going to be taking 1 out of 4, no, 3 out of 4 of the load, because it's closer, more load, and this one is going to be taking only 1/4 because it's 4 spans, only 1/4 of the load. And if they are in the center, 2/4, and so on. So basically, you can do you can do the analysis, or you can do the problem again. But if you know that, you can say, oh, the reaction here, AY, was 7.3575. Then this is the reaction now, and the reaction here, HY, it was 2.4525. So this is the reaction now, and you use that to your advantage. And you can argue that this is a pin and this is a roller and the behavior are different, and you will be completely right. The behavior is different, and those boundary conditions are different because the pin restricts the horizontal movement and the roller doesn't, but we don't have any horizontal force. So under the particular loading condition, these and these are exactly the same support under the particular loading condition. Now the case 3, it says calculate the same bars when the load is here and use whatever approach you want to use. Well, I'm going to use the method of the sections. I know the method of the section is the most hated by you, but it's the easiest one. So if I have to calculate these bars, the first thing is identify zero force members after you have the reaction. And we already know this is a zero force member because you can study this joint. And then you have 3 bars, 2 of them collinear. The one that is not collinear has to be 0. And this is a zero force member for the same reason. If you look at this joint here, 3 members, 3 bars, or 3 forces is the same, or any combination that adds 3. 2 collinear, 1 is not. The one that is not collinear is 0. Now in this case, this is not a zero force member because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you want to calculate this bar, you can say, look, just by looking at it, summation of forces in y equals 0. So this bar is going to be this value of the force, and this bar is going to be equal to this force. So remember, this is 9.81 for the force there. Now I'm going to use that method, and because I have to calculate this, and that, I'm going to do this section, and that section is, and I'm going to use this side. It's easier for me. So I'm going to have this like that. This is that bar that is zero force member, and this is the direction of the force. Oh no, wrong. I didn't say this is the direction of the force. I don't know what the direction of the force is yet. So I'm just going to do the section. And this is where the member is supposed to be. And the reaction here is 2.4525 Newton. And these distances, remember, are 18 centimeters and 18 centimeters. And I'm not converting them. Go back and review why I'm not converting them. Now, the direction of this one, tension. Why is tension? Because this is deflecting. Once again, my school boss is deflecting like that. Bottom in tension, top in compression, meaning this is going to be in compression. Now this bar is not sometimes easy to identify, but if you just look at the whole section and you see this going up, definitely this has to come down to make the equilibrium for that. This is going to be the bar CE, this is going to be the bar CD, and this is going to be the bar either AB or BD, which are the same. I'm going to put here AB and BD, but they are the same. It's the same bar. If you eliminate this is only one bar, or behaves like one bar, and this is it. So let's calculate this section. So I'm going to do summation of summation of forces in Y. Why? Because in Y I have only one unknown. Remember, these angles here are 45 degrees. We have been working through 2 other videos with that. So what do I have in Y? I have 2.4525 positive, and I have the vertical component of this one. The vertical component of that is negative CD. If I use this angle of 45, it's going to be cosine 45 degree equals 0. So CD is going to be equal to CD divided, calculator here. Calculator. I didn't do this part before, so this is going to be 2.4525 divided by cosine of sine is the same 45. So 3.4684, and this is going to be Newton, and this is going to be, I assume it in tension, so it's going to be in tension because it's leaving the joint. Now the other thing that I can do is apply summation of moments here. So I'm going to do summation of moments there. What is that point? The point C. If I do summation of moments at C, these two bars are not producing any moment at that point, but BD is producing, and also 2.4525. So at C equals 0. Once you get a little bit of practice, you can say, oh, this distance is this distance are the same. It's going to be the same value, but let's do it. 2.4525 distance, horizontal distance between the point and the vertical force is 18 centimeters, like that. Negative, negative, I know it's centimeters. And then this is going to be, horizontal force is going to be BD multiplied by the vertical distance, which is 18 centimeters. And if I apply the force, it's going to go like that, which is positive, equals 0. When I pass this to the other side, these two are going to cancel out because one is going to be on top of the other, dividing the multiplying and divided. And BD or dB is going to be 2.4525 Newton. And we assume that to be in tension. What else do I need? Oh, I need the moment, I need the bar CE. Well, I like doing moments more than forces, especially if it involves less amount of calculations. So I'm going to do that at D. This is the point D here. I just complete this up to that point. This is also 18 centimeters, and I'm going to do summation of moments at D equals 0, like that. If I do summation of moments at D equals 0 here, then you have CE multiplied by 18, CE multiplied by 18 centimeters, and I apply the force in this direction. It's gonna rotate like that when I put my pin there. So, and that is positive. Now I have this force, 2.4525, and I put my pin over there. I apply the force. It's gonna be like that, which is negative, and the distance from here to here is 2 times 18 or 36, so it's going to be negative 2 times 18, and there's nothing else, equals 0. So this 18 and this 18 is going to cancel, as well as the centimeters, and CE is going to be 4.905 Newton, and we assume that to be in compression, so it's in compression. Now we're missing one bar, which is this bar here. This bar you can calculate in so many different ways. You can say that this bar is equal to this bar, so I do the analysis of this joint. If I do the analysis of this joint here, and I do summation of forces in Y, I can calculate this, and then in X, this is going to be equal to that. However, I'd rather using the method of the sections. But in this case, I'm going to use the longer side, not the longer side. I can use the longer side, or I can use this shorter side like this also, or I can do this. And whatever of the two that I use, I can use to my advantage to do that. So I'm gonna select this section like that. I don't know where I'm so lazy. So I'm gonna draw it again. I'm gonna draw this part. I'm gonna draw this 7.3575. I say I don't know why I'm so lazy. Well, because I have been recording videos non-stopping for more than 1.5 hours. That's why. 18 centimeters. This is this force, 9.81. And this is the force that I'm looking for, which we know it should be in tension. And then we have these other two forces, which I really don't care. I know this is in compression, and this one I know is going to be in tension because this goes up, and this, well, I don't know if it's going to be in tension. Actually, no, because if you see this and you see that, the resultant of these two is going to come down, so this is going to go up. But I don't care about these two, because I only interested for this problem in this force, which is the force dF or Fd, and I don't need that to calculate that. I don't even need that direction, because I'm going to do summation of moments at G. Summation of moments at G equals 0. So this is passing through the point, these two are passing through the point, dF. dF, horizontal force, vertical distance, so it's going to be dF multiplied by 18. Look what I'm saying, vertical force, horizontal distances, oh my god. Horizontal force, dF, vertical distance, 18, this direction, negative, 7.3575, vertical force, horizontal distance, 18, centimeter, cancel, direction, this direction, positive, equals 0, this and this cancel out, dF equals 7.3575 Newton in tension. And that concludes all of the forces that we need. Now, case 1, case 2, and case 3. And this is what I want to complete. You see, when we were working before, we were filling this table. And I say dF, I already put the value before, 7.3575 for case 3, just by analyzing it, just by looking at it. But let's complete the rest of them. Now, this force, BD, which should be dF before, should be this one for case 1, and it is, BD is 2.4525, and now you're gonna see this in red. Why he put that in red? Because I only had the red marker when I did this. So this is tension. Now this is 2.4525 in tension, BD, we just calculated that. CD here, 3.4684 in tension. What else? CE here, 4.905 in compression, and I'm missing these two, but these two are, let me look at my drawing. Who took my drawing? Here, I have a mess, and I own it. It's my mess. So BC or CB, no, this is not the case. Get out of here. Where is my drawing? Oh, it's here. Smart. So BC or CB is 0. We determined that, so doesn't apply. And then you have the other one, which is DE, which is this one, and it's also a 0 force member. Doesn't apply. Now is the interesting part of the problem. After I have this, I'm going to go to that model that I showed you before. Let me put it in big here. Webcam. I'm gonna go to that model in the next video, and I'm gonna set up the same loads as I solved in the 3 videos, or in the 3 videos that I use preliminary to solving this problem. So in the case 1, case 2, and in case 3. And once we do that, now we're gonna compare our results. Now what happened in real life? I like to tell you a little bit about real life. Once you have these, those are the same troughs, but the load is moving. So when you design, you have to design the element for the worst case scenario. What is the worst case scenario? I don't know. Let's check this. For the member BC, you see case 1 is 9.81 in tension, and case 2 is 0 and case 3 is 0. So definitely when I do the design, I have to consider that steel or wood or whatever material, plastic, or I don't know what the material is for that truss, but I have to imagine, or I have to know that that bar is going to be subject to that load in tension. Now when you study CD, look, you have 3.4683 in tension, in compression, but you also have 6.9367 in tension. Well, then you have to design that bar by both conditions. And why both conditions? Let me see if I have something. We always have something. Let me see. I should have something. Yes, I have something. Look at this. Why in both conditions? Because tension refers to me pulling it in this direction. Compression means me pushing it. And when I push it, look what happened. You see? It's bending. So it's not the same behavior in tension or in compression, especially because these are slender elements. You have to consider both of them and take both of them into account. And I'm not taking this into account because this is smaller than that. Now look at the other member. I have 4.905 in compression, 8.0646 in compression, or 9.81 in compression. Well, this is going to be the design. And I hope these values are correct. I don't know. You can recalculate it and let me know if I made an error because I do this live. So I might have. I don't think so. This one is a zero force member, so that means that it's the same. This member is not going to be taking any load, but it's going to be there just for keeping the other ones in position. So you design that by the minimum that the specification requires. And now if you go here again, you have this 4.9 in tension, 2.49 tension. This is the biggest one for designing this one, only in tension. And then this is again tension, tension, tension. The biggest one is this one, so I will design that in tension. There is apparently only one member, apparently, that changes from compression to tension. And this is the only member that you have to study this, study that, and whatever tells you the bigger section, that's the one that you will use. Now, the next step, what is the next step? The next step, and I'm not going to do it today, and you will know I'm not going to do it today because I'm going to change my shirt. And yes, I could change my shirt here, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to do it probably tomorrow, if you let me, during my office hours. I'm gonna use the model, and then I'm going to solve it in such a way that we can compare these values with the experimental values obtained from the model. See you guys.